Dear YouTube family, welcome yet again to my YouTube channel. And as promised, I'm here with the first session of functional English on my YouTube channel. Before we get started, friends, I wish to tell you that English is the most spoken language in the world today. The world population has been estimated at a whopping 7.9 billion people in 2021, out of which 1.39 billion people speak in English across the globe. That makes English the world's most spoken language, my dear friends, and it's called lingua franca. By lingua franca, I mean a language which is spoken globally across the world. Without further ado, let's get started with our first topic. So as promised, friends, today is Wednesday and I'm back with the first session. Now, before starting our journey, let me tell you that English is a very dynamic language, and English has been changing as a language. So it's very important for us to learn and update ourselves in the most befitting way. One of the primary aspects of learning a language is to learn it in the way it's spoken in the native countries. What are native countries here? Native countries are those countries which use English as their mother tongues. For example, English is spoken native in the United States, Europe, Australia, New Zealand, and even South Africa. These countries are more or less considered as native English-speaking countries. So we need to develop our accent slowly and gradually to sound like these people. So to begin with, my dear friends, we have been pronouncing this word WEDNES and DAY as Wednesday all through our lives. But what's the correct and the appropriate pronunciation, friends? Can anybody tell me? Yes, excellent. You've got it correct. It's Wednesday. It's not Wednesday, although we do write it as Wednesday, but it's pronounced as Wednesday, friends. What's today? Well, it's a Wednesday. So do you remember the Bollywood movie which featured Nasiruddin Shah? What was the name of that movie? Yes, the name was a Wednesday. But that's not the correct pronunciation. The pronunciation which is correct is a Wednesday. Can anybody guess what's today's topic going to be? I'm all ears. I'm listening. So I'll give you a clue. What do we normally do when we meet somebody whom we don't know? Or what's that first question that people ask us when we meet them for the first time? I hope that's clue enough. Okay. Yes, I'm getting some good answers. Okay. That's right. So there are different ways of asking this question, and the question is, who are you? Tell me about yourself. That's very important. This is the time when we introduce ourselves to an unknown audience. So it's very important to introduce ourselves, hitting several points. Now you'll be able to see the points here. So please focus. Now I'll give you the points. If you build on these points and finish your answer in 30 seconds, there's nothing better than that. So when you start introducing yourself, you need to remember that these points need to be essentially covered, and at the same time, you shouldn't forget that you can't continue to introduce yourself throughout the day. You'll have to stop somewhere. So the practice should be to introduce yourself within 30 seconds, my dear friends. Shall we try? Let's get started. So whenever you are asked this question in an interview or whenever you go to some place which is new, when you need to talk about yourself, always start it with your full name. So you can say, I am, or at the same time you can say, my name is. I am Pratik Kundu. At the same time I can also say, my name is Pratik Kundu. What's next? Age. So you can say, I'm 34 years old, or you can also say, my age is 34 years. At the same time, friends, you can develop and say, I am 34. So you may have a question that, isn't 34 years old required? No. This is new age English, modern English, where you can avoid the phrase years old. Up next comes talking about your family. However, friends, please do remember that you are being asked about yourself. So don't speak volumes about your family. So how much do we actually need to speak to finish the introduction in 30 seconds? Remember, the tick, 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 tick is going on. So we need to finish in 30 seconds. For that, we just need to say, I have 4 members in my family. Or you may also say, my family has 4 members. So you may have a question that, don't we need to introduce the members that we have in our family? Well, in case if it is required, there could be a question at the end of this, tell me about yourself, that will come up when the person who's interested in you may ask about the details of your family members. You can then share those details. But as of now, since we have just begun and we also need to finish the introduction in 30 seconds, you don't have to give those details right now. What follows next, friends? Any guesses? Of course, it's about what keeps you occupied and busy. So the question would be, what do you do? Now there could be several answers to this. I'm providing some fabricated answers for you from which you can always choose. In case if you are an academician, if you're a student, you can always say, I study in a school or university. In case if you have finished your studies and now searching for opportunities, you can always say that I have graduated and searching for work. So try to avoid this terminology. Job doesn't sound good. We need to be very professional with our usage of the language. So it's better to say, I'm searching for work. In case if you are doing something and that's keeping you busy, you can always say, I work in a bank, or I work in a hospital, or I work in the leather industry. At the same time, in case if you are an entrepreneur, a person who has his own business, you can always say, I have my own business into textiles or pharmaceuticals, anything. So you can always say that. So I've given you certain answers from which you can always choose. So we have covered 4 essential pointers. Now we are left with the last pointer, because we need to remember that we cannot keep talking about ourselves for the entire length of the day. So we need to stop somewhere. Here comes the 5th and the last pointer, which you should cover when you are introducing yourself. And that is about your pastime. A person isn't a machine. A person cannot work for 24 hours a day. So you need recreation. There should be a pastime. And at times you are judged by whatever you do to utilize time when you are not working. Okay? So, what are your hobbies? This could be a question. Or what is your pastime? I'll tell you about mine, which you already know. My hobbies are... So if you have one hobby, you can say my hobby is. At the same time, you can also say my hobbies are, in case if you have more than one hobby. And you can say my hobbies are kite flying and public speaking. What's this hobby? It's about talking with people. Okay, so you can tell me your hobbies. It could be listening to music. It could be working out in the gym. It could be playing video games. It could be singing. And there's so many other things. It could also be traveling, my dear friend. Now that the essential points of introducing yourselves have been covered, friends, can we practice? Fantastic. I'll get started with my own introduction, after which you can always follow and practice. My name is Pratik Kundu. I am 34. I have 5 members in my family. I teach in a school. My hobbies are kite flying, and public speaking. Thank you so much. Remember, whenever you finish introducing yourselves, do remember to thank the person whom you have introduced yourselves to. Can we all start introducing ourselves from wherever we are? Okay, so what's your name? What's your age? Can you tell me about your family? Excellent, very good. What do you do? Do you have any hobbies? What are your hobbies? You are welcome. So whenever you say thank you, it's my responsibility to say you are welcome. So I've left the gaps for you to fill in this particular video. Remember, the art of picking up any language is to use it frequently and regularly in our daily communication. So I have taught you something very unique and essential. Please practice. If you like the content that's coming out, please do share and subscribe my channel as much as possible for everybody to learn English in the most appropriate way. I'll see you again on Friday. Bye for now.